Beautiful.
So up for the challenge. This will make you appreciate all pottery that you see. Whether anything that's handmade, you will have a new appreciation for it. So
I've always had an appreciation for
it will double. It will double. Yes.
Sure.
So one of the things about pottery is to take this chunk of clay and turn it into something we can actually use or drink out of.
Yes.
It takes weeks, sometimes months.
Oh, wow.
Because by the time that we finish it and learn how to do the craft and finish it, it has a significant drying time before it goes in the kiln. And once it comes out of the kiln, then we glaze it, then it goes in the kiln again. So there is a number of different steps. It goes in the kiln twice. Yes, you cannot do it all in one kiln firing. Now the cool thing is though, we live in a partial desert. So we have a faster drying time than if, let's say, you're doing pottery on the coast. So that's our little mini win.
By how much?
Substantial. Like
Really?
we can sometimes do stuff in like 3 weeks compared to 3 months.
Just because the
Holy
air.
wow.
Yeah.
Just because the air is drier.
Yep.
I wouldn't have thought it would make that big a difference. That's really
Huge.
surprising.
Here we actually have to slow down our dry time instead of trying to speed it up. So it is, it's quite significant. But that's such a win for Kamloops because we can really control our temperature and our speeds quite a bit more.
You hear that? Like Kamloops may be the optimum place in
to do
BC
pottery.
at the very least.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
pottery.
yeah.
When I used to live in Vancouver and I would come back to Kamloops to visit, I remember my skin just be like,
Yeah.
so that was like,
What do you mean?
Yeah. And clay will also add to that, so don't forget we have lotion at the end.
Okay.
So what I'll do first is I'm just going to do a quick demo, totally overwhelm you with information. And that way when we do it all together, you know why we're doing a couple of things we're doing. So we took the liberty of pre-wedging our clay. So thank you, Kat. Yay! So
those muscles out.
you kind of smash the clay around a bit, and then also if you guys want to do this too, if you have any aggression, you take it out by just slapping your clay into a ball. So that's ideal. So it's kind of nice to get a little.
Aggression is it does make me want to say some bad words. Say on the stream, so
Take it out with your hands. Yeah.
Right.
So with this, we want to really compress our clay.
Okay.
So that's one of the ideas, and then we want to get it perfectly centered. Because if it's not perfectly centered, there's no way you're throwing a perfect ball.
No, of course not.
The next thing I do is I swirl it around a bit, and it makes this lovely diamond shape. So this diamond shape makes it, when I slam it down, it's going to not trap air in it. So that's kind of a nice little thing. Now, excuse this, I'm not an athlete. So sometimes I miss the bullseye.
Okay.
I find if I kind of point and then, didn't embarrass myself on live. That's good.
I should be doing that as well.
That's our style. We always embarrass ourselves. And
Yeah.
That's just our thing.
And you know, it's a part of pottery.
Yeah.
It's a part of the learning curve.
Should I have made the point by now? Also, I think, I don't know.
It's fun to touch.
That's okay, you know, because there is going to be more steps that help us get it even more in the center.
Okay.
And this is a good step before I even go further too, is playing with your,
Has it been caught up to you by now? or
playing, if you want to stick it down on there, and then we can kind of just feel the clay a bit. So if you feel the clay without water, it's going to be really sticky.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure our clay is on there pretty good. Yeah, there you go. So you shouldn't be able to just rip it off easy. So it dries out really quickly too. So if I were to just use this and not use water, we're going to have way too much friction. So before we do anything, we are going to play with our speeds a little bit. And on it.
You're on.
There we go.
That's the other direction.
Should I be scared?
Yeah.
Always. Yes.
Remember, it's just clay, and usually your first one blows up, and you usually feel out of control with it. So if that's how you feel, that's normal. So I'm going to jump ahead and do a couple steps.
My foot's not on the gas though anymore.
Oh yeah, so whatever speed you set it to, it'll just stay. So you get control. You don't, and actually that's really good, because if I'm trying to throw and I'm doing this, where it's slow then fast, then slow then fast, it's going to be really hard to make a proper bowl.
Right, yeah.
So,
It's going to be wobbly.
it's going to be wobbly, yep. So the first step to pottery is centering it, because you can see your hands wiling around, right? Another thing you got to watch each other for is chicken winging. So if you start doing this, you want to lock them right down into your legs. And I'm going to get a little bit ahead of you now.
Like right. Yeah,
And
over.
Todd and I will demo on the outsides how to get it right in the center. So instead of using this weak little muscle here, I mean, no matter how strong your arms are, usually. Yeah, there you go. You're all good.
You're getting cozy.
I missed a step, teacher.
Sorry, we were misbehaving in the corner.
I'm not even sure if I'm accomplishing anything.
So, and
Feels weird.
what you're gonna do is lock your elbow into your leg. That way I'm using this big muscle to push.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
less about pushing, it's more about making it steady.
Ooh.
So when I cram my hand in, my power's going right from my leg, through my elbow, out through my wrist, into the center. Yeah, and when you squish it in, it goes up.
You're letting it be stronger than you.
And then when we squish it down, if we go straight down, it'll make this little kind of mushroom effect. We don't want that.
Oh, we don't want that? Why not?
We want to go a little bit away from this, because anytime you get a little mushroom, that'll create a weak point later on when we're opening our clay.
Oh.
So right now, our goal is to be able to get our clay right into the center so we can like hold our hands on it and even like close our eyes and our hands aren't wiggling. So it's going to take a few times.
I think I'm
Oh
getting
yeah,
something
there
here.
you go. And it's less about moving it as much as just staying still. So when you think
Right.
about it, every other art medium, your painting stays still and you move. Your drawing stays still and you move. Pottery, it moves and you stay still. So it's kind of the exact, so yeah, there you go. Literally
amazing.
in my head when I throw, I'm like, you're a statue, you're a rock, the wheel's not gonna win, you're gonna beat the wheel. So once we get it up a little bit,
Yeah.
I like to make kind of like a little butterfly with my hands, and then I'm gonna push it not straight down, but a little bit away from myself and then down. Our goal is to get like a hockey puck.
Okay.
Oh, a hockey puck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want this.
Go Blazers.
Yeah.
Go blue team, I think. I don't know.
Blue and orange.
Blue and orange. Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
And the
A little-
more,
yeah, a little
just try and really jam your wrist in there and be like, no wiggles.
Do you not get like a burn from the metal rubbing on your wrist?
It's calloused over now. You're putting a lot of pressure down onto the face of the wheel, so that means that you need to have more support on your legs so that you can hold your hand at any point instead of just down. So I think you're putting a lot of pressure onto the wheel instead of using your... Yeah, but you're getting center. So what I
think
would
I was
recommend, you were
Yeah.
center.
I was.
And lots of dipping in your hands into water. The
Right.
second it feels sticky or it even just doesn't quite look shiny, that means more water.
So what I would recommend is getting your hand in almost a C shape like this, and you want to touch the clay with kind of this part of your hand, whichever way you're throwing. And that's going to be your base. What I would do is almost put my hands together like this. So I'll put my hands like I have two like trays, and then I kind of cross them.
Okay.
That way I have like a little angle right there, a little right angle that I can use to add new pressure on the top or on the side of the piece to make it that circular shape. It's one of those ones that...
It's really nice too once that
Here.
centers and it just locks in
So
and all of a
it'll
sudden
be
your
either
hands stop
this way or
wiggling.
this way.
Oh, yeah.
And you put your hand,
Oh, okay, I see.
and then you can slowly start, and get
Oh.
more water on that bad boy. There you go.
I get you now.
Incredible. Oh, yeah, nailed it.
Look at
Well
that.
done. Ah!
I'm just gonna give yours a quick check
Sure.
here. I just wanna
Make sure we're
beautiful.
centered for the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if this isn't perfect, there's no way you can make a bowl or
Right,
a
of
cup.
course.
Challenge accepted.
No pressure.
Here, I'll give you
Not a very round
Unlike
one.
people who, when you're not perfect, you can still be anything when you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pottery plays by its own rules and it demands
Exactly.
perfection.
We got a little bit of a lip on that side, but
I just
Looks
don't
pretty
know what
center.
we're making.
whoa!
Right now.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Are we not gonna? Is it gonna be a all you purposely?
It depends. It's what's in the clay because, well, I don't know yet either.
Oh.
Because it
We have
depends.
to let the clay tell us.
I get it.
So one of my favorite things is when people come in and they're like, okay, and it's first class, and I'm gonna make a vase that looks like this, and it's this tall and this, and I'm like, oh, we're about to be humbled.
We're gonna try to make a container.
Yeah, a container.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Container is a nice broad
Yeah.
term,
Let's. Yeah.
If you make an ashtray your first time, you're
A
doing
container.
great.
Yeah.
The best is to have no expectations and just come in to have fun.
Sure.
So if you want to make this beautiful big vase or something, it would be the same as if it's like, I'm about to paint the Mona Lisa, but I've never
Exactly.
even held a
Exactly.
paintbrush
Yeah.
before. It's just,
Makes
give
sense.
yourself a little grace.
Yeah.
We're actually form our pottery from our base up.
Okay.
So trust me, it's gonna bend your mind a little bit. When you're first doing pottery, as you start to open your clay, it's so tempting to be like, I started to make a bowl and I'm just gonna start from the top. No, way more likely to crack in the kiln.
Okay.
Okay.
So we kind of find our bullseye and we're gonna press straight down into it. Now remember, it's gonna get dry really quickly. So we're gonna have to add a little bit more water in there. And as long as you're pushing hard enough that you have movement, not so hard that it's ripping the clay.
Okay.
And down to the bottom, but not all the way down to the bottom, or else you have a donut.
I usually slow my wheel down at this point a little bit more just to make sure that
We don't.
taking the time with
Yeah.
the making the hole.
At the start, it is way better to use more water than not enough water. As you continue to practice, then you can start using less and less water.
I jumped the gun. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Speedy little potter.
Nice.
Well, so I'll also kind of show that, see, as your wheel is turning, and your hands, if they're on the outside, one way it's going palm to finger, the other way
Yeah,
it's
finger to
going
palm.
finger to palm. Yeah, so we're gonna do that too. One hand on the outside, one hand on the inside. And for this, I like to kind of give it a little thumb hug, little hand hug. Now this kind of helps me stabilize. That way, as I pull my clay up, I'm gonna work in little bits.
We need a fun.
And I kind of
Yeah, I have a hole in
I'm
my
kind of
bowl.
grabbing my clay a little bit and just dragging it up slowly, but not squeezing too hard.
Okay, I might have squeezed too hard.
That's okay. It is the most relaxing art medium and the most frustrating art
Fair enough,
medium,
fair
just
enough.
depending on the moment.
Right, yeah.
Speaking of kilns,
Yeah. What's so frustrating about a kiln? Come
oh,
on.
it's like
I'm sure they're finicky.
if
Are
you were
they?
working on any project and right as soon as you're like, okay, now this is done and it looks amazing, and then a toddler comes over and you have no idea what they're going to do next, that's a kiln. That's, you do all your glazing, all your this, all your that, and then you throw it in at 1800 degrees. Game over.
You got a spout.
I got a spout.
One way you can adjust that is taking your sponge and just really gently holding on the inside and outside.
Okay.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Your ideal shape you're gonna throw is a cylinder, straight up. Because if you're looking out here and you start throwing a bowl, well, you can't really straighten it back out. But if you pull it out straight, I'm gonna steal one of your tools here. If you pull it out straight, you can do stuff like holding it with a tool. And then I can take that first cylinder shape.
Even going back
Oh,
in there.
and wreck
With
it.
one hand on the-
See? And you have to be able to do this in clay. You have to be able to take your piece
Oh yeah.
and let it go.
Good call.
All this does get repurposed, reused, rethrown. So,
Nice.
and it's not
So
that it goes.
even if you ruin it, it's not a waste.
Oh yeah.
So what we can do to clean our wheels is you can take this rubber
Okay.
orange thing. It's called a rib,
Do I?
Do you guys want
should
to
I
have
probably
this
just get rid of
and
this
you're
thing
gonna
first?
I'll take your.
lean into your inner frog and rib it.
Are you gonna name it?
And then you can also take your cloth to kind of dry off our wheel because we want to do our next one with nice dry hands. So even in our clay, this water that's all mucky,
Yep.
that has precious particles in it.
Of course.
Because every bit of clay is built with bigger pieces, smaller pieces, microscopic pieces, and those help fill in all the bits. So we don't throw any of this out. We sometimes, once some clay settles, we can sponge a top layer of water off and then evaporate because we want to save all of that good little bits that help it hold together.
Exactly. What's the most common thing people make?
Mud.
Mistake.
Yeah, it starts out with low bowls. Low bowls is going to be the first thing, and then you kind of progress into a little bit of a higher vase or a coffee mug.
Oh yeah.
And then after that, you can get really crazy with it. I'm going to show you a couple other pieces here. So this one is a bowl inside a bowl.
That's pretty cool.
So this isn't two bowls thrown that are attached together.
It's a Super Bowl.
This is
Another
a super
bowl,
bowl,
yeah.
yeah, chip and dip bowl.
Yeah.
So you make this in same kind of steps, but you have to kind of separate your ball or your
So
puck.
all would have been done as one piece.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So this is one throw. Now one that'll blow your mind even further. This was thrown on a wheel.
That is really.
So this is a full functioning flask, but it's thrown this
It
way.
doesn't look like a flask. That's
Mm,
just-
yeah, right? And then, so that's the clay color, and this is just a really cool glaze that was
Yeah.
put on
I
it.
really like that color.
So, do you want to talk about your process for this one, Kat?
very well done.
That?
Thank
It's a
you.
flask you can, like, hang
Yeah.
around your neck.
Totally.
Do it close up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Do,
Absolutely. So it's hollow all on the inside, right?
follow on the inside. It's
Yeah,
And then after making that
Better good
circle,
choice.
flattening it and adding on that little spout hole.
I'm gonna put it right where Todd's face is.
Oh, cute.
Okay, so there is. I'm looking at this part right here.
Yeah.
That's where you pour your
That's
whiskey
the
or whatever.
that's
Yeah.
your mouth hole. So then we get a little
Yeah.
cork and pop it in the end, and you're good to
Pretend
go.
you're drinking glug glug glug. Glug, glug, glug.
Oh, I nailed it.
Very nice. And then, wow, this is so cool.
Thank you.
And like you could like hang this up, and Grandma would say, "Wow, what a lovely decoration!" And
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
Right,
Just
and then
kidding.
when grandma's not looking, you're like,
Oh, Grandma knows. Come on.
oh, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, so I mean, sky's the limit for what you could throw. The further up you go, the further out you go, the harder it's going to be.
Right.
And then every clay has a different feeling. So some clays are going to be, you have to use all the muscles in your body to make it move. Some, it feels like you're sculpting with cream cheese.
Okay.
All right, ready
right.
to go again?
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I jumped again.
Okay, okay, go.
Oh, all right.
You know
I
all
mark
the
it
steps
steps?
now? No,
Oh,
we'll still
Jesus.
help. We'll still help. That's a lot of steps to learn at once.
Yeah, exactly.
And we didn't even really get into
And
taking
so-
it off the wheel yet.
Okay. Unfortunately, I didn't get that far. No.
You're right where you should be.
And so it seemed like I was using too much water. Or,
It's more.
because it was talking about being waterlogged, right?
Yeah,
Or
no
water
matter
dense.
what, it's gonna get waterlogged by the
Okay.
end of your throw.
Okay.
So that's very, very normal.
Now slide
What
it
I
down
think
and it
happened
should
with
be good.
yours is it got too thin too fast, and then
Okay.
that's when that wobble happened.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So if your wheel's going too fast, or if
Also,
you,
I never did that part.
yeah, your diamond part,
I never did the diamond.
Oh gosh.
that's okay. We didn't have to worry about kiln firing it anyway, so you're good.
She knew we were.
Yeah, now. Right, so how does it just roll?
Yeah, just give it a little roll, a little bit of pressure. Yeah, there you go.
A little
Nailed it.
acorn.
Like that.
Like a pro.
And then we throw it.
Then we throw it into the center, and we're gonna pinch down our edges a little
Okay,
bit.
so it's a little off center. Better.
Yeah, and then give it a little
What's
wiggle.
so funny about my throw?
Your throw is funny. Wait, don't look at me now.
I want to judge your throw now.
No.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
You can sometimes kind
I
of
made fun of you.
tap
Kinda
it
scooch
over.
it.
Yeah, no, I'm
Slap
trying to
it
be
around a
supportive,
little.
Kelsey.
Okay, ready, set, sculpt.
Yeah.
sculpt.
So making sure it's attached on good, and then don't forget your water.
Yep, water.
Water.
I did not.
Water.
Water.
What's that?
Wally.
Agua.
Alright, here we go. I'm gonna sculpt a Greek statue.
Yeah.
You are.
My favorite
I am a
thing.
Greek-
Yeah.
No, you are good to sculpt one.
You are a Greek statue.
Greek sculptor.
Once you got your nice puck shape, slow your wheel down a bit for the rest. That's where, because at the start you want it going so fast that way you can lock in and hold it and have it. You're not waiting all day for it to center. But after that, we want it to go quite a bit slower. That way, if we wiggle, it doesn't explode.
Yeah.
So before you open, you can leave your wheel running.
Okay.
Just gonna squish it in a
Yeah,
little bit
I
more
was
for
trying
you.
to get that down, but you got to go up first.
Yeah, so if we get it kind of coned up, and then when I cone it down, watch how much I bend it. So I really bend it and then squish
You
it.
know what? I didn't do any of that bending
Yeah.
and squishing.
But again, even
Bend and
that
snap.
with the wedging, coning, anything like that, it takes practice. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's like
That's what pottery
swimming
can
or
spend,
riding a
and then
bike.
stand up.
You know, once you do it and you learn and you practice, you don't really think about it. It
I
just
mentioned
happens.
like after some time, there's a lot of muscle memory to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing about the bike riding thing because I don't actually know how to ride a bike, but I know how to swim.
Yeah.
Slow
Let's
it
start working
down.
on the
And we start the opening process.
opening process. We're going to open the clay. Is that what
Yep.
you say?
Open the clay, get towards the bottom, not all the way to the plate, or you end up with a donut.
What's wrong with
Unless
the
you
donut?
want a donut.
And
What's wrong with the
oftentimes,
donut?
a lot of times, donut is a positive thing in life, but not here. So how long have you guys been located here?
Just had our 3rd year anniversary.
Yeah.
So 3 years into this location. So it's kind of nice because, wow, is there learning curves in the first 3 years here.
Yeah.
It was like starting the company from scratch again because our expansion was so big.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, where were you located before this, and how long were you there?
We were on 12th Street. So we were on 12th Street from, well, not only about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Before that, we were downtown. So we had our grand opening on 12th Street the start of March 2020. So we were about 2 weeks in after our grand opening, and then COVID hit.
Oh no. Yeah.
So at first we were like, okay, cool. Like there's all of my life savings and hard work gone.
Gone. Yeah.
But then, after I had to cry for a few days, I was like, no, I gotta put my big girl panties on and make this work. So we started doing like art at home kits, and we started doing classes over Zoom.
Right.
And we managed to survive and then expand. So anybody who was retiring, or a lot of franchises went online only and
Yeah.
kind of abandoned their artists and their supplies. And so we hired as many artists as we could. And
Awesome.
Yeah.
What a great way to,
yeah,
work
just
with what you have. And
Yeah.
stay fluid. You have to pivot.
Exactly.
Well, and one of the companies we ended up purchasing was the Slipcast Ceramic Company. So we had 3 weeks to decide if we wanted to buy this and to get everything moved out.
Right.
So these things, like our biggest mold weighs about 450 pounds.
Oh wow.
So we didn't know at the time, but it was the largest collection in all of Canada.
Oh, wow.
So I've got a bay warehouse here with 1,000, and I've got 9,000 more off-site in storage. Shout out to my parents who let me put a sea can and sheds and everything on their property and take over their garage.
Parents are great.
What I recommend is if you take your hands in the mud and really rub it between your fingers and like in between in your hands, because you're not used to that feeling, and it'll get your hands more comfortable touching the clay.
All right.
I know, it sounds crazy.
do it.
Really rub it in between your
Sounds
fingers.
Really unpleasant, in fact.
Exactly.
No way.
It's there's two types of
Here,
people.
I'll just take the giant chunk of clay that you dropped on my thing and rub that in my finger.
Yeah.
It's
See?
like you love it or you hate it. Yeah, there's
I mean, I don't.
It helps climatize your hands, I think, to
Yeah.
the feeling of the...
Yeah, I can definitely see people who have like issues with textures and
Yeah.
stuff might not love this.
Or they really love it. Like,
Yeah.
us-
Yeah.
like
Right, yeah,
you know,
that's true. Like,
yeah. It
they-
depends on the.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I absolutely hated getting my hands dirty.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've come a long way.
Thank you. Yeah, I would be like playing in the sandbox and in mud and like immediately have to go inside and like wash my hands.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
I always
So
forget
this
to
is-
wash my hands.
This is therapy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Get dirty, Todd.
Todd, proud of
Yes,
you.
therapy.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure I grew up half in a mud pit. One of our child entertainments was Mom would be like, go dig a hole in the backyard and give us all shovels.
Yeah.
And we just try and make the biggest hole we can.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
a couple of the cousins and
Yeah.
everyone would
Yeah.
come over, and then next
Yeah.
year, now dig a hole over there.
My
Yeah.
friends would bring their dogs over and we would make our dogs get married.
Aww.
Dog wedding.
They
Trying to
have
find
dog
it.
consent, I bet.
Hi, Carrie. Yeah. Nobody's
Now,
gonna-
so when you mentioned mine, that the issue was that like I made it too thin too fast.
Yeah.
And I see yours is beginning to get a little on the thinner side.
Yeah.
So is it really just the speed that's
It's-
the issue? Like that's
it's-
pretty solid there now, or?
Yeah, well, it's the speed of your wheel. It's also because it's a little bit of experience too.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you are used to knowing what it's gonna feel like when it's that thin,
Uh-huh.
then you can kind of know how it's gonna react a lot more.
Right.
Versus when you're first starting, like if I were to wiggle and squish this a little bit too hard, there it goes.
Gotcha.
Which still happens.
Yeah.
Still happens to this day.
You don't have to pretend that just to make me feel better about that.
Oh, I do not. I feel like
really do
some
that.
days I can throw like a wizard. Other days I'm like, did I forget everything?
Whose hands are these?
Yeah.
You throw like whatever the opposite of a wizard is.
Yeah.
A mailman.
Okay, sure.
I don't know. They're wizards, aren't they?
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a thing going on here that I don't hate,
Yeah.
I don't hate mine either.
but I don't really know what I'm gonna do from here. I just feel like, oops,
Oh,
wherever I go, it's gonna get worse.
So, yeah, and sometimes that's how you know you're done a pottery piece.
Okay.
Is once you have that feeling that if I do anything else, I'm going to ruin it. That's how you know you're done.
Okay.
same with painting, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Although,
child rearing.
yeah.
Why I'm the youngest. One class, and then they're like, "Hey, we nailed it."
I
What do
am
we
really
feel?
impressed with you. You
thank
are
you.
doing awesome.
You are too. She just can't see it from there.
You're doing
That's
great.
okay. No, I suck. It's fine.
I know.
You're doing amazing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Even though you tried to sabotage me, you're doing great.
My problem is I don't have a thing that I'm like trying to make. But I think that's
I'm
what
not
you mentioned.
trying
Not
to
Yeah,
make
sometimes you
Yeah.
gotta just feel it.
I'm
You gotta
making
just
a-
feel it.
What about a water pitcher?
And yes, I can't. Your hands have been over it. Oh.
Oh no.
So there's a lot of different techniques you can use for clay. Like really, we're starting with the hardest one. Because
are we?
yeah, because
Totally.
I like a challenge. So.
yeah, because you're dealing with this movement where if you're slab rolling and you roll out your slab and you make it around a form that way, or if you're coil building where you kind of make these little snakes and build it up that way, or if you're carving into it, all those things, it's staying still while you're moving. So it's more it makes more sense. Whereas with the wheel, it's got the biggest learning curve because you have to be able to adjust.
Right. Yeah.
That's why it's so much fun.
It's got a bit more of that risk.
So this is kind of a mixture of a bunch of our medium fire, mid fire clays. So when I mix the reclaim, it kind of gets a bit of this, bit of that in there. So I have like some reddish colored clays and darker clays. So when they mix in with the other ones, every batch of reclaim is going to be a little bit different depending on what people are using.
Yeah, I see a really dark clay. Like it's like chocolate bar.
Yeah, this one is called coffee. So it comes out in like a beautiful, like dark brown.
Do different colors of clay need more or less water or like
It's back to
Good question.
texture?
yeah, back to texture. So a lot of the darker
You often
clays,
ask good questions. I just want to sling it out.
sometimes they'll have more of that iron in them or whatever chemicals, but
Right.
they're all the ones that we have are all fired to the same temperature. What would be an exception would be like the porcelain. We don't want to mix that with our other clays just because of it will disrupt the particles and blah, 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 whatever it, yeah. Sorry, that started stuttering.
Science.
Yeah, the science.
The science of it. So we like to do those separately. Same with like any of our low fire, like terracotta.
I love terracotta.
Oh, it's lovely. And so terracotta, it doesn't fire as high as these clays, so it's a whole different kiln firing temperature, and it's way more porous, so that's why it's so good for
Brown sugar
planters
savers.
and brown sugar savers.
Okay. Huh.
Nice and porous. That being said, that means that different glazes will affect it differently, and certain glazes we wouldn't use on those fire temperature ones. And that's part of, yeah.
And I guess the other whole way to make things out of clay is something that Kat does here a lot, is the slip casting. So that's where you take the liquid clay, like this stuff is called slip, when it's the slimy clay.
Right.
So you take the watered down clay, and it's a very special exact blend. And then it gets poured into the plaster molds, and the plaster absorbs it in some water, and it creates that hard shell. And then she still has to go in and finish and finesse and sculpt, attach, do all these things. Yep, you're right on track. Are you gonna do a handle?
I was just about to.
So this is how handles are created to make sure they're nice and compressed and you have a good structure to them. Want me to grab a finished one? Oh, actually.
You have to be a bit of an engineer.
Apparently, it's similar to milking a cow, but I've never milked a cow, so I don't know.
Oh,
Well, maybe you're ready to.
I've got the practice.
that is,
So-
yeah.
It
I have
feels
no idea
weirder
what
than
this
it
is,
looks
but
too.
anyway.
So you have to keep it wet the whole time, and then you just
Pull.
pull and pull, and it
gentle.
squishes
Oh, I see
and
how that would be
elongates.
like milking a cow for sure. Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anywhere if I were to go tight in and then out,
In fact,
that would
I'm
just,
almost convinced you are
take it
milking
off.
a cow right now.
yeah, let's go with that.
It looks like you're getting chocolate milk.
Yeah, it's the chocolate milk cow.
Todd, stop talking.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Yeah.
You're my favorite co-host, Kelsey.
Stop talking.
And then once that's made, I'd set it, let it stiffen up a bit, and then apply it to my piece. Yeah, I was thinking about making this into like a French onion soup bowl. One of those like big handles,
Oh yeah,
like that.
nice. We're gonna get a successful
Wow.
piece. Good
Do you
job,
wanna try
Todd.
doing it?
Thank you.
Good job.
I'll
Before
block
we
the
get off the
camera.
wheel, one thing we're going to want to
Sure, I'll
do
try
is
to make a
squeeze
handle.
the water out of our
like,
sponge
get
and
some more water on your
remove
hand.
all that
Oh, sorry.
slip
Yes,
from
yes,
the
yes,
inside
yes,
and
yes.
We'll dry
outside.
off
That
this
way it dries
hand.
nice and
This,
even.
this
Wait, you're
is where I
left-handed.
have the potential
We'll
to
dry
ruin
off
it
this
again.
hand.
Yep, absolutely.
And
Oh,
then
there's
it
still
falls
two
onto
more
it.
steps that you can
Oh,
ruin it.
okay.
You don't
okay.
worry.
I'll do it, it'll, like,
Plenty of
yeah.
time for me to ruin it then.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Look at you go.
Are
Last-
you milking now?
Yeah.
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 In order to really make this, I don't know, a little step up and professional,
Yeah, sure.
what we do is we take this wooden piece and we can put it on the bottom, and I hold it with two hands and I slice in.
Okay.
So it's going to go at an angle like this. So I'll do it again on this one.
fun.
What do you want
So
your
I can
balls
kind of
to do?
slice in until I feel the plate.
Okay.
And then I make a little water slide with my hand in the sponge, and I put the water in there.
Okay.
And then that way, when I carve this bottom back up, it won't stick back up to the piece. And then I can kind of pull this off.
Okay.
And now that's going to make it so I have a really nice finished look on the base.
Yeah.
And
You can also shape the rest of it.
rather than having like a end.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is-
Todd, you can do it.
all right. Okay.
Because someone's got to make something here.
So, can we
It
just...
looks great.
So, yeah, so it's kind of working like you want the clay to run this way on it. And we're just slicing in like a knife. And a little bit more of an egg. Yeah, there you go.
No pressure. No pressure. Don't screw
And
this up.
you keep pushing, keep pushing.
got it.
You got this.
Don't screw it up.
Oh my god.
You're like jinx, jinx, jinx.
How hard is it? How-
Until you feel
Oh.
plate. Yeah, go right
I
in
see
at
going
an
more
angle.
down.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There,
you go.
perfect.
Beautiful.
Yep, now you're ready for that hand water slide.
So, water in hand?
Yeah, so then I kind of direct it right in there. Yep.
Ah.
Yep. So you can kind of, oh yeah. If you use a sponge, then that'll kind of, yeah, then you can kind of really shoot it.
Man, I'm gonna have to come back.
Yeah, perfect.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I'm not sad about that. I want.
Oh man.
I want to come back.
Good. Yay.
Is that enough water?
Yep.
Okay, now.
And
We'll
then
make it a
now you
series.
can scrape right along the plate, right into it.
What?
That's okay.
It's just the top of the thing.
Yep, we can fix that.
Just a
And even more of like an angle, like flatten it right in there. Yep. And
And are we
keep
wanting
pushing right into it. Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep. Perfect. So now when we will be able to take off that little rim,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, I think you're good. So now if you take your tool this way, we'll be able to kind of scoop that little rim off.
Just making them into little garlic graters.
And then
Oh,
yeah.
you just did that.
No, that's Carly. That's
Oh, it's already.
yeah.
cat
It's a nice color.
Christmas presents. At least I'll find out if my family watched.
Earlier, you were talking about how you guys were gonna do some renovating.
Yeah.
And lots of big changes coming ahead. And like you're knocking walls down and all
Yeah.
that. So, business-wise and class-wise, will that affect?
Nope. We have had it planned. We're closed between Christmas and New Year's. So that's been
what that is.
pre-planned. Yep, that's when our renos are going to happen. We do still have a few private events that we've booked ahead of time. So we are kind of selectively opening up in between that. But yeah, we'll be kind of opening up the space a little bit more. And like if for anybody who's watching who's not familiar with Art Party or Kamloops, this used to be a funeral home. So we took an old funeral home and we turned it into an art studio. Don't worry, the only ghost lefts are very creative, so they keep no ghost lefts. We scared them all off. Don't worry.
You're scaring us off.
Yeah. I'm out of here.
Other way around. You're gonna
Yeah,
love it so
same.
much. You're gonna haunt the building.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Such a fun environment, though.
Yeah.
And so, is there a reason why you're renovating? Just to make it more efficient?
Yeah. Yep, more efficient, open up the space a bit more because, we've grown so organically. We did this without, I've done this without spouse or investors or anything like that until once we moved here. Women's Enterprise Network BC, they're amazing.
Oh, nice.
They have really, really had my back and helped me out with a lot of stuff since.
They help you with funding and stuff?
Yeah, so they gave me my first loan to be able to survive our first
wow.
3 months at this location. So we love them. And since then, they've continued to provide me with all sorts of education and stuff. So if you're a woman entrepreneur in BC, totally reach out to them. They are phenomenal. And really, we just keep, anytime we do, have a profit, we just put it back into the building, put it back into supplies, put it into staff, training. We're up to 10 staff members now, and it's some of the most beautiful, wonderful, kind humans you will ever meet. And every time you walk in here, it's just like you can let everything go from outside, and you just get to do a little, art.
Yeah.
This is a great way to take the edge off
Yeah.
without drugs or alcohol.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Art is therapy.
Any other details you want to share before we say goodbye? Or?
Oh, just thank you so much for coming and spending the
thank you.
evening with us.
Yeah.
This is
So
awesome.
much fun, yeah.
We want to thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And really, the only reason we've gotten this big and been able to do the things we do is really word of mouth has got us so far. So somewhere like Kamloops that has so many amazing people that continuously pump us up and send more people in. The busier we get, the more supplies we can buy, the more artists we can
The
hire.
more dirt we can buy.
The more dirt we can get.
More
Yeah, the more times we can run the kiln.
Yeah, this was a tremendous amount of fun.
And you don't have to do a class. You can come in and just wander through and take a tour, and all the art on the walls and everything is all done by our staff and students. So it is all local, and everybody's so proud of it.
And we're on Trunk Hill at?
We're 177 Tronquil Road, and it's Kamloops Art Party. Woohoo!
Awesome.
Look for the mural.
Yeah, we got a
Look at the
beautiful
mural.
mural outside.
You want to talk about that girl? We just did one?
Yeah, so in early September, North Shore Business Association hooked us up with a grant to be able to put a mural up on the side of our building. It's over 100 feet long.
Awesome.
And it was like 9 women in 5 days, just made it incredible. So, yeah, it's really good for taking selfies too. Yeah,
Oh,
I tell you.
perfect.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
every foot has a different backdrop.
Look what Todd.
Look what I did.
I'm so impressed.
I made a weird lumpy bowl.
It's great. It is great.
Is your weird lumpy bowl gonna make it in the kiln?
I think so.
I hope
I
so.
got a good feeling. I got a good
And
feeling.
it's your.
Oh, as far as not
Amazing.
exploding, yeah.
Your
Maybe-
sacrifice will make his work.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe it's gonna say don't put
Took one
mine
for the
next to
team.
anything important.
Hey, if it explodes,
I don't-
it's on her,
I don't
not on
wanna-
you.
I don't want to be the terrorist here. All right, thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for hanging out.
Thank you.
It's been so much fun, and we'll see you next time. Say bye, Kelsey.
Bye,
Bye,
Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Bye, Kelsey, Grandma.
Nice.